Here are today's headlines. The Department of Social Welfare and Development sends relief aid to areas affected by Mayon volcano's unrest. Rappler head Maria Ressa appears before the NBI following a complaint involving one of its articles. Malacanang maintains that the country exercises its sovereign rights over the Philippine rice region. Ukay-ukay jackets become a hot commodity as Baguio hits its coldest season this year. Good day, I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The Department of Social Welfare and Development sent 5 million pesos worth of relief aid to areas affected by the eruption of Mayon volcano. Over 6,000 families have been served in evacuation centers. Here's our report.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development gave more than 5 million worth of relief supplies to local government units affected by the eruption of the Mayon volcano in Albay Province. DSWD Officer in Charge Emmanuel Leco said the DSWD Field Office 5 remains on red alert and continues to assist affected communities through resource augmentation and relief operations. As of Sunday, the regional office said 6,459 families or 24,381 persons are still being served in 29 evacuation centers set up by LGUs in areas determined to be within the danger zones, which include Camalig, Ginobatan, Daraga, Ligaw, Malilipot, Santo Domingo, and Tabaco. Evacuation centers in Legazpi City have been closed since January 18, but evacuees were advised to remain on alert for any eventuality. Amid ongoing relief operations, Legazpi City Mayor Noel Rosal also ordered the forced evacuation of nearly 13,000 residents of the 5 villages covered by the extended 8-kilometer danger zone at the foot of Mayon. Rosal earlier ordered a preemptive evacuation due to the continuous phreatic eruption of the volcano until it was reported safe for residents to return to the danger zone. Meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines issued a notice to airmen advising pilots to avoid flights to Albay Legazpi City and Pili Camarines Sur. Legazpi Airport was also temporarily closed until further notice. For their part, Cebu Pacific and Philippine Airlines canceled their flights passing through or near the Bicol region for January 23. The airline said they are ready to assist affected passengers in rebooking flights or arranging for refunds. On Tuesday, Mayon volcano again erupted around 9 in the morning. The eruption again spewed column of ash reaching to about 5 kilometers. Yesterday's eruption, however, only reached 3 kilometers high. Authorities have also increased the extended danger zone to 9 kilometers from the previous 8 kilometers. Thousands of residents within the 9th extended danger zone were also ordered to evacuate on Tuesday in preparation for the imminent raising of the volcano's alert level to 5 or hazardous explosive eruption. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Giselle Danganan.
Malacanang on Monday shrugged off Jose Maria Sison's call for the youth to stage mass protests against President Rodrigo Duterte. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque Jr. said that the Communist Party of the Philippines founder is stuck in the past. He said Sison never moved beyond the first quarter storm, referring to the series of mass action protests against former President Ferdinand Marcos in 1970. Sison urged the youth to launch huge mass marches and rallies in the national capital region and in the provinces. He cited recent controversial events like the train law, measures to amend the Constitution, and moves against press freedom to incite the public against the government. Duterte, meanwhile, said the communist movement has already become irrelevant, adding that the public has been questioning the sincerity of their cause. The president made the comment after meeting with National Democratic Front Far South Mindanao region spokesperson Noel Legazpi and his wife Wendy Bandalian, who both surrendered to the government. The Bureau of Immigration has collected an all-time high income of 4.75 billion pesos from fees from its clientele and the transacting public in 2017. Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morente reported that the total revenue for last year is 18% higher compared to what was earned in 2016. He noted that the Bureau still managed to register record-high revenues despite the frequent holidays and work suspensions, as well as the numerous resignations of personnel following the drastic reduction of their take-home pay. This happened after Malacanang vetoed the use of express lane collections in paying overtime services and salaries. President Duterte reinstated the same benefit this year. Meanwhile, BI spokesperson Maria Antoinette Mangrobang also attributed the large revenue take to the success of government efforts in aggressively marketing the Philippines to tourists and multinational companies. She said they have become more efficient in collections due to the full computerization of documents and the strict monitoring of collections. The Davao City Health Office has declared a measles outbreak following an increase in the number of people infected from November 2017 to early January this year. At least 222 people have been found positive of the viral disease as of January 6. Dr. Josephine Villafuerte, chief of the CHO, said patients were not all residents of Davao City but hospitalized in the city. Villafuerte said they were able to so far vaccinate 13,000 children aged 5 months to 59 months since the first measles case was reported 2 weeks ago. At least 16 call center workers were confirmed positive of the measles virus last week. To address this, the CHO conducted measures particularly involving prevention. The signs and symptoms of measles, which are felt after around 2 weeks of exposure to the virus, are high fever, cough, cold, sore throat, inflammation of the eyes, skin rashes, and white spots on the inner lining of the cheeks. Villafuerte reminded the public that if they feel the early manifestations of measles, they must immediately go to the nearest hospital. The government successfully sold out its 10-year global bond for $2 billion. The proceeds will be used to fund the Duterte administration's Build, Build, Build program. Here's our report.
The Duterte administration got another boost after the government successfully sold $2 billion worth of 10-year US dollar-denominated bond. The Department of Finance said the latest 10-year Republic of the Philippines issuance sold after the first 10-year global bond issuance in 2014 has a coupon rate of 3%. This is lower than the initial pricing guidance of 3.300% and has a final spread of 37.8 basis points above US Treasuries. This latest issuance was given investment grade ratings by Moody's Investor Service, Fitch Ratings, and Standard & Poor's in line with their ratings on the economy. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III said the strong support that this global bond float has received in the international capital markets is a testament to the deepening investor confidence in the country as one of the world's fastest growing economies. He said the capital raised plus the additional revenue taken from the newly implemented train law will help bankroll President Rodrigo Duterte's Build, Build, Build program. The government plans to borrow about 888.227 billion pesos this year, with the overseas borrowing set at around 176.269 billion pesos. Aside from the US dollar-denominated bond, the government also plans to issue yen-denominated samurai bond and renminbi-denominated panda bond. In January 2017, the Duterte administration issued its first 25-year dollar-denominated ROP bond amounting to $2 billion. This has a yield of 3.7%, lower than the 3.95% initial guidance. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
Still to come, Rappler head Maria Ressa appears before the NBI following a complaint involving one of its articles. Police arrest another suspect in the Maguindanao massacre. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ang sugod ani yun, this started or this was precipitated by my anger. Ngayong mga sundalo everywhere, Bitinhulo, dito, Mawab, Mati, everywhere. There's a market day for the soldiers to eat subsistence. Usually niyan, 4, 3. Ang problema, pinapatay. True in the southern portion of the archipelago of Zamboanga at saka dito, Kalinan. Sabi ko kay Secretary Lorenzana, pati kay John Anyo, I mean, this has to stop. Maghanap kayo ng paraan. Kung cook, invent, or whatever, bahala na kayo. Basta try to correct the aberration. Seems to me, no offense intended, that despite of the repeated incidents, hanggang ngayon, ganun pa rin. So, why don't you try to come up with something? So, it was during the cabinet meeting that I said, si Secretary Piñon, wala ka bang naisip dito na paraan na ang pagkain pupunta ng sundalo? Kaysa maglakad pa yung mga yan, tapos pagpapatayan lang ng parang aso. Nagbibili na nga lang ng pagkain, so itong tienda is really for the food, if it is in reduced prices, well and good. Tapos dito na ang magbili. If you require refrigeration, then I will buy a refrigerated. Kung gusto nyo lahat kayong may refrigerator, bilihan ko kayo ng refrigerator lahat. But to preserve the food, you must have something central to it. But I'll provide it, especially division size. Inyong trabaho yan to protect the Constitution and to protect the people. Remember it as a solemn duty. I'm thinking of the survival and security of the Filipino people.
Rappler Executive Editor Maria Ressa faced the National Bureau of Investigation to give light to an article that is the subject of a complaint by a businessman against her. Here's a report.
Rappler Executive Editor and CEO Maria Ressa appeared before the National Bureau of Investigation in compliance with the subpoena it has issued against her. Accompanied by her lawyers led by UP Law Professor Jose Jesus Decini Jr., Ressa told reporters that she has no copy of the complaint, but they will cooperate with any proceedings. Aside from Ressa, also summoned were former Rappler reporter Reynaldo Santos Jr. and businessman Benjamin Bitanga. They were ordered to shed light on the complaint filed by businessman Wilfredo Keng for violation of the Cybercrime Prevention Act in connection with an article published by Rappler. Ressa insisted that the complaint was part of the continuing pattern to harass and shut down Rappler. Keng's camp furnished copies of the complaint to Ressa, Santos, and Bitanga. NBI Cybercrime Division Chief Manuel Eduardo said they gave Ressa, Santos, and Bitanga, owner of Dolphin Fire, a company that has shares in Rappler Holdings Incorporated, 10 days to submit its comment on the complaint, after which the NBI will evaluate whether to pursue charges before the Department of Justice. Last week, the Securities and Exchange Commission revoked the operating license of the digital media company, questioning its corporate deal with foreign investor Omidyar Network. Following this, Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II directed the NBI to investigate the media outfit over possible violation of the Constitution and other laws. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Philippine Cervantes.
The Securities and Exchange Commission's decision to revoke the corporate registration of the online news platform Rappler proved that the rule of law has become stronger under the Duterte administration. Presidential Communications Operations Office Head Secretary Martin Andanar stressed that nobody is above the law in this country. Andanar also pointed out the issue was a question of legality where Rappler violated the constitutional requirement of Filipino control in the media entity. Andanar suggested to Rappler to settle their issues with the SEC. The SEC revoked Rappler's registration after it allowed foreign firm Omidyar Network to have some control in its articles in incorporation and corporate bylaws. The control was granted through a provision on Rappler's issuance of Philippine depository receipts to offshore fund Omidyar Network Fund, LLC. The Constitution requires 100% Filipino control for any local media entity, while the Securities Regulation Code states that control goes beyond ownership of shares and any form of control is control. Moody's Analytics projects a 6.7% output for the Philippine economy in the last quarter of 2017. This level is lower than the 6.9% growth measured by gross domestic product that the economy registered in the third quarter of 2017. In a research note, the economic research subsidiary of Moody's Corporation identified domestic demand as the main growth driver. It also considers exports as additional factor for domestic expansion due to strong demand for electronics and components. Other plus factors are consumer spending, which is backed by remittances from Filipino workers overseas and the strong labor market, and investments in line with the government's infrastructure projects. Moody's also cited the Duterte administration's plans to spend 8 to 9 trillion pesos on infrastructure to 2022, which is funded by the tax reform law. Authorities arrested in Maguindanao one of the suspects in the 2009 Ampatuan massacre. Superintendent James Allen Logan, Chief of Criminal Investigation and Detection Group ARMM, said the suspect identified as Tho Amino was arrested on Sunday. He was caught by joint police and military elements at a police checkpoint in Barangay Dalumangkob, Sultan Kudarat Town in Maguindanao. Amino was facing 56 counts of murder as one of the suspects in the November 23, 2009 massacre of 58 persons in Ampatuan, Maguindanao. The suspect is currently detained at the CIDG ARMM. Up next, Malacanang maintains that the country exercises its sovereign rights over the Philippine rice region. Ukay-ukay jackets become a hot commodity as Baguio City hits its coldest season this year. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Nagkaroon ng turnover ceremony dito sa Iligan City ng mga donasyon mula sa bansang Russian Federation para sa Republika ng Pilipinas sa pakikipagtulungan ng DSWD. Ito ay para sa IDPs na apektado ng armed conflict na tumama sa Marawi City na dinaluhan ni na DFA Undersecretary Ernesto Abella, DSWD Undersecretary Luz Liminda Ilagan, TFBM Assistant Secretary Felix Castro Jr., Iligan City Mayor Celso Rehencia at LGU Marawi. Sa pangunguna ni Ambassador of the Russian Federation to the Republic of the Philippines, Mr. Igor Anatolievich Kovev, at Acting Director General Department of International Activity, Ministry of the Russian Federation for Affairs for Civil Defense, Emergencies, and Elimination of Consequences of Natural Disasters, Mr. Igor Veselov, ay matagumpay na naganap ang ceremonial turnover ng 2,000 na sako ng bigas, 2,460 na sako ng asukal, 208.35 na delatang gatas, at 234,783 na delata ng karne, 2,955 son soft food. Ayon kay Kovev, naiintindihan nilang mabuti ang tungkol sa terorismo, ang pagdurusang nadama at ang agarang tulong na kailangan para sa Marawi.
We know that very well on the basis of our own negative experience. And that's why we fully understand the sufferings of the people of Marawi City, your feelings, and we fully understand the urgent big need of support. So please consider this donation not a donation only from the government of the Russian Federation. First of all, it's a donation from the bottom of the Russian people's hearts.
Taos-puso naman ang pagtanggap ng pamahalaan ng Pilipinas sa katauhan ni Department of Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Ernesto C. Abella sa mga nasabing donasyon.
We certainly and deeply appreciate the gesture, the kind gesture of the Russian Federation, and it's a very significant and symbolic act. And again, the good ambassador has reiterated that what we have is a reliable partnership, and that they would like to continue to increase our mutual awareness of each other. Again, this is the President's openness to this reflects his own foreign policy that we are enemies to none and friends to all. As the President has said, he is open and welcome to, has implied that he is open to support, and again, especially in the global fight against terrorism. As you very well know, this is a global threat. It is not isolated to us, and we appreciate all shared information and shared assistance. We continue to extend our sympathies to the people of Marawi, and we wish them Godspeed. We understand where they're coming from, and we so desire that the development will really cater not just to the needs of the givers, but also to the actual needs of the internally displaced people.
Para sa Bayan, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
Malacanang said the Philippines has sovereign rights to explore and utilize the natural resources found in the Philippine Rice region. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque stressed that sovereign right is the exclusive right to explore and exploit the area's natural and non-living resources. He said having sovereign rights includes a decision to allow other countries to conduct scientific studies. Roque mentioned two conditions that the government has imposed: that Filipino scientists will participate and that the result of the scientific research will be shared with the Filipinos. Roque meanwhile said the Scarborough Shoal issue was covered by the obligation of good faith between China and the Philippines, that the former would not reclaim nor create artificial islands. He added that the two countries are both interested in maintaining their current good relations. The National Bureau of Investigation has filed murder charges against 12 persons in connection with the killing of Italian priest Father Fausto Tentorio in North Cotabato on October 2011. Senior Assistant State Prosecutor Peter Ong filed the charges at the NBI to recommend the creation of a panel that will handle the case. The NBI withdrew the complaint it filed last year before the North Cotabato Provincial Prosecutor's Office against brothers Jose Sultan and Dima Sampulna due to lack of evidence. Facing a complaint for murder are Lieutenant Colonel Joven Gonzalez and Major Marquez Spiritu and alleged members of the Bagani Special Force, a paramilitary group. Also recommended for prosecution were several unidentified individuals, including 20 members of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Tentorio, who belonged to the Pontifical Institute of Foreign Mission, was gunned down October 17, 2011 in North Cotabato's Arakan town. The missionary was known leader of the campaign against mining operations in the town. Roger Pogoy was hailed the PBA's Press Corps Player of the Week for providing the firepower for Talk and Text Katropa that won back-to-back games. Pogoy was relegated to the bench for the past two games of TNT in the PBA Philippine Cup, but had two of his best games so far in his young career. Pogoy went 10 for 14 from the field on Wednesday against Blackwater for 24 points as he led TNT to a comeback win. On Sunday, he continued his solid showing with 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals as he helped the Katropa whip the Meralco Bolts. Troy Rosario, Jason Castro, and R.R. Garcia also made the shortlist. Also considered for the award were Kia's Roshan McCarthy and Glenn Cobontin, Magnolia's Rafi Rivas, Alaska's Vic Manuel and Sonny Thos, San Miguel's Arwin Santos and Junmar Fajardo, and Global Port's Sean Anthony. As Pagasa forecasts continuous chilly weather in Baguio City, residents and tourists are flocking to ukay-ukay shops where they can buy winter clothes that are cheap, functional, and fashionable. Here's our report.
Once again, thick jackets, bonnets, and shawls are out of the closets of local folks in Baguio City to bring out their best winter fashion getup and keep them warm during this season when the mercury often dips. But for those who want a new set, there is no place like Baguio's Ukay-Ukay, or locally referred to as Wagwagan. With the prevailing bone-chilling weather, this allows everyone to visit the iconic Ukayan hotspots in the City of Pines, the Bayanihan Lodge Commercial Center, Skyworld Commercial Center, the many stalls that abound at the Central Business District, and the most popular of all, the Harrison Night Market. At the night market, prices of jackets range from 20 pesos to 3,000 pesos for Class A leather jackets. The prices depend on the material and style. 3 pieces can be bought for 100 pesos. Ukay-Ukay has its own niche in the shopping industry, and for a number of years now, it has become a significant part of the Filipino way of life, not to mention fashion trend. During this season, Ukay-Ukay is a perfect alternative source of fashionable and affordable sources of thick clothing. In the past days, Pagasa Baguio Weather Station reported that northern Luzon has been experiencing intermittent rain showers and light wind that adds up to the chilly weather. Baguio's mercury reading started to drop last January 13 when Pagasa recorded a 12.8 degrees Celsius temperature. The peak of Baguio's coldness is experienced between January until the end of February of every year, which at certain times extend to the first week of March. It was in the 1960s when Baguio recorded a low 6 degrees Celsius. Pagasa said the temperature is still expected to drop in the succeeding days. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country.
Authorities reported the arrest of Jamar Abdullah Mansul, mayor of Haji Mutamad Basilan at NAIA Terminal 1. Mansul was arrested by NBI personnel as he was boarding a plane from Manila to Kuala Lumpur on Monday. Mansul's name appeared in the immigration database of wanted persons. Senior Superintendent Fergen Torred, Western Mindanao Police Chief, said Mansul was among the top 3 drug lords operating in Basilan. His name was included under Martial Law Order No. 2, which includes a list of persons involved in terrorism and illegal drugs. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Let's take another look at today's headlines. The Department of Social Welfare and Development sends relief aid to areas affected by Mayon volcano's unrest. Rappler head Maria Ressa appears before the NBI following a complaint involving one of its articles. Malacanang maintains that the country exercises its sovereign rights over the Philippine rice region. Ukay-Ukay jackets become a hot commodity as Baguio City hits its coldest season this year. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and all that it is doing for the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.